Hey, Garage Logic fans, I do a podcast on the Garage Logic Network that comes out every Wednesday and Friday now, twice a week. But here's an important caveat. There is zero logic available in my show, in the formal definition of logic. Of course, life is a yin and yang kind of thing. There's the logic side, and then there's the what the hell side, which needs to get its exercise. So come for the what the hell and stay for the you've got to be kidding me. Mishki, now Wednesdays and Fridays, twice a week.
Several homes in the suburb of Northwood had the most beautiful landscaping.
Such perfection.
The neighbor responsible? Retiree Arvin Shreve.
It reminded me of Mr. Rogers.
But Arvin hid a dark secret.
My mom took me to this house, and then I never lived with her again.
Arvin's message was, I have a key to get you into heaven.
Gardens of Evil is the unbelievable story of the Zion Society cult, told by those who lived it. Find Gardens of Evil inside the Zion Society cult, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
That's right. It's time for the Weekly Scramble podcast. My name is Chris Reavers. With me, as always, his name is Mike Fratelloni. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Reavers?
I'm doing good, as you can already tell, as a guy that absolutely loves fall. My favorite season of the entire calendar year. And as a guy that has asthma and allergies, it's a lot of that stuff in the air. But anyway, you know what I am? I am tough.
Are you?
And I'm going to battle through this particular episode of the podcast.
I don't see people with asthma as necessarily tough, right? Lack of wind can get you down.
Can I tell you? Well, what the hell? Why not? No. It's our show. We can do whatever we want. I remember when I was first diagnosed, I was probably first grade, second grade, somewhere in there. And I had no idea.
Sure.
Right? It just was always harder for me to breathe when I would, and I was always active. I played 3 sports in high school. Anyway, and when I was younger, it just wasn't weird to me. And I remember, oh my gosh, poor Mrs. Butso. She was our Mrs. Butso, the best gym teacher in the history of Faribault athletics.
Sure.
She was my elementary school gym teacher who ended up becoming my parents' neighbor when they moved out of the city into the country.
Okay.
And she was the absolute bomb. She was the best. And she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, why?" I was doing one of those because I didn't know any different.
Everyone breathed like they were underwater.
I swear she was about to call the ambulance for me, but no, Mrs. Butso was the absolute best. She was one of my favorite teachers, and obviously the best gym teacher of all time.
The first time you took the hit from that inhaler, where you're like, "Wait, that's what that feels like."
I still remember when I was diagnosed. My mom took me to wherever, and I remember getting my first inhaler, and it was like, wait, this is how everybody else gets to operate?
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of the first time I took Viagra. I'm like, wait. That was exactly the noise. That's what it's supposed to be like? I had no idea. No idea.
Oh, my God, I love you.
Can I say stuff like that? I hope that was a good joke.
Once again, it's our show. We get to do whatever
I can say
we want.
Everyone knows I'm being a jocular doofus.
As long as we're down that road, it's like the first time I took cocaine.
Oh, great.
I'm kidding. I'm totally joking.
Life can be this good?
Well, I will say this. I've always made this joke about how the fact that asthma has saved me a lot of money.
Yeah,
I never got addicted to cigarettes. I never smoked weed.
Can't have cigars.
None of that stuff, right? So
I have never tried. I've smoked pot before in my life, right?
This just in?
Don't like it. It makes me nervous. I'm not. I like to be in control.
You very jittery?
No. I get paranoid, right?
Oh.
But something about cocaine makes me think that I would. I've never done that drug either.
Sure.
But I've talked to people who were kids in the 70s. And they said smoking pot was kind of gross, but a lot of people used cocaine, even in high school.
Sure.
And one woman that I really admire, and she was a very successful person. She's like, I would do cocaine every single day if it were legal. The way she talked about it, she goes, "It was great. You'd be able to be focused." And I said, "Well, I want focus. You'd not that 3 o'clock tired. That you don't have that." I'm like, "Well, I'd not like to be tired at 3 o'clock. Maybe I need a testosterone shot. Is probably what I need."
Oh,
don't we? Do we have one of those companies that could shoot me up with some stuff?
We did used to.
Yeah,
I did the ads for them.
You were too young for that when you did those ads.
And honestly, I think that's the case. And
I needed to do those ads.
Okay.
Because a tired 55-year-old guy losing his hair, just like ready to cash it in. I needed something to lift my spirits.
Yes.
I needed something to flex in the mirror. Right?
Boy, we always go down an avenue that I never think we're going to. I think
people
so
get
too.
us. Yeah.
In fact, I was in the fighting city of Mankato on Saturday. I had a wedding to attend of a friend, and I ran into somebody who I had never met before in my life, and she said, "Oh my God, are you Chris Reavers?" And I said, "Yes, hi, nice to meet you." Her name was Mary, and she was there with her husband. I think his name was Bill. I think it was Bill. And their daughter was a friend of the person that was getting married that I know. And she says, "I love you and Fratelloni."
Wow, that's
nice. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that is so nice of you." So I made a promise that I was going to give her a shout out on the show today. Lovely ceremony. And here's the thing. You're getting to a certain point in life where the wedding, gorgeous. The entire wedding party was beautiful.
Sure.
It was a beautiful day. A little overcast, but it was a perfect fall day. And the ceremony was wonderful. Have a nice dinner. I kind of look around and say, "Okay,
I'm out of here.
I'm getting out of here before everyone starts getting their point two on it, right?"
Sure.
And is that, when you kind of say, "Yeah, I'm good."
I would have started getting out of there like 2 hours earlier.
But you got to eat.
Don't even have to go to the wedding, technically. Right? No one really wants me at the wedding. They want a check. And if I slide a check in with a number a little bit better.
See you later.
Right? And so it's funny that you always bump into women that know the show, and I only bump into men that know the show. Is there I think I'm a solid 6.5, and I can't get one.
You're at least a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
You're at least a 7.5.
You're not getting any of this, but okay.
Yeah.
I did meet a nice guy named Mark at our Andover store. We were doing this things for Can Do Canines.
Okay.
Right? We're doing that Find It at Frass thing where we hide something, and I taped this star to the dog, and then someone had to come in and find the dog to win the gift cards and stuff. And there was a guy named Mark out there, and he was super, super nice. He said, "I haven't joined the frat pack yet." I said, "What you been waiting for? Frat pack is where it's at."
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to actually go and see anybody in the frat pack, but you know what everybody's doing.
Right. Well, you talk about running into listeners and whatnot, and I want to preface this by saying that there was a reason I did what I did. I was camping with my family. So once a year, my parents, my siblings, they all love to camp.
Okay.
I like to say, where's the nearest Holiday Inn?
Sure.
Okay. So once a year, I bite the bullet, and my boys love it. Yeah. And it's kind of fun. Okay. Oh, we don't have to shower, and there's a swimming pool right there, and we get to ride a four-wheeler and just be gross and dumb, and they love it. So I bite the bullet. Once a year, I suck it up. And I'm not even going to name the campground. We were at a campground, and it again, would I prefer to take a shower? Absolutely.
Sure.
But you know what? For a couple of days, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I'll be able to make it, right? And the food's always great because it's barbecue and everything else. And there was a camper that had this huge GL sticker on the back window, on top of above where the bumper is. And my brother and I were he's got a cool side by side that he brings with on all the camping trips, so we can kind of tool around and just make sure the kids are doing okay while we have road sodas, right? And so we're driving through the campground, and of course, my two brothers love to do nothing more than what? Give me crap.
Sure.
And make me uncomfortable. So my little brother Rob pulls up. He's like, "Well, would you looky here?" I go, "No."
GL sticker.
And so he said, "Well," and I just said, "Okay." And I introduced, he walked up.
Do you know Reavers?
The people that were there could not possibly have been cooler. Hey, you want a beer or whatever? And it was fun. But again, it's just like, okay, I'm here with my family. You don't need to start doing all that.
I think I know that trailer. That's the one that had the big GL sticker on it. And then the bottom sticker that said, "If this trailer's rocking, don't bother knocking unless you're Joe Souchere. Come on in." Right?
Maybe.
I wonder if Joe Souchere has ever had any of those situations where...
Do you think in any of the years he has been alive that he has been camping?
No. No, I think he's a lot like me, or I am a lot like him. I don't ever recall, when you're talking about not taking a shower for a couple days, I don't ever recall in my life not taking a shower at least once a day. Not ever missing a shower. I can't function without it.
That's the thing. For me, it's a comfort thing, because I can't sleep if I don't shower before I go to bed.
I can't shower before I go to bed. I'm not 11. I got to do it. I got to do it in the morning before I get up.
No, I
do
both.
Oh, you do both.
I do it before I go to bed, and then when I get up after I usually do stuff. And
if I work out, I shower at night, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, we sure went a long way to get to nothing.
Yeah, we really did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you vote for Fry? Did you do what you had to do?
Well,
I know you don't live in Minneapolis, but you could have gone and voted.
I was going to go this morning, and I want to get into a lot more of that around the other side of this break. But I did go, or I was going to go this morning because my polling place is basically the Jordan Middle School / Community Education Center because it's one big building that's connected together. But I had to do a couple of things. In fact, I had to meet with a client this morning, our new friends at Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Nice.
I had to be on a phone call with them this morning.
Do you have a weigh-in?
Every Wednesday morning.
Every Wednesday morning. Okay.
With my gal Emma, who's amazing. And this is not an ad for them, but I had that, and all of a sudden I went, "Oh crap! I got to get in the shower and get to work."
Oh.
So I'm going to do it before I go home today.
Okay.
I'm going to do it this afternoon, and then get my little sticker.
Are they doing is it the problem with some of these off-year elections is Minneapolis has a big one, St. Paul has a big one, but Mendota Heights, where I live, I don't know if they have anything big. All right.
Yeah, and to be honest, I remember. Obviously, last year was a huge year because we had a presidential election. But I remember it was 2 years ago, we literally did not have any offices up.
Oh, really?
So I went down there and I said, well, what? And she said, well, there's one thing to vote on. It was like some school board something. It wasn't even a race.
Yeah,
it was just
vote no.
Are you good? Yeah, exactly. It was like a referendum on something.
Those adult pornography books in the third graders library. You're like, I'm going to vote no for that.
Honest to God, there is so much audio and video that is circulated, but I don't want to do it right now because I know what it's going to do to you. But there's a piece of audio that I have to play for you that just perfectly encapsulates. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Everything that is either plaguing our existence or is contributing to that fact. Because, honest to God, it's almost as if you want to say to somebody, "Do you not understand what this point's going to lead to that point? That's going to lead to that. Do you not get how that works?"
Yeah, the law of unintended consequences.
Thank you. That's way more delicately placed. And I just think, whatever. And well, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's get ahead of it a little bit. And I want to come back because I want to play this because there's really an avenue that I would like to go down. But first, I want to talk about our friends at We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in charge of corporate holiday gifting this year, don't be the person that sends another boring gift. Be the hero that sends toffee peanuts. And that's because We Are Nuts MN is going to provide that for you. Locally roasted, family owned, and dangerously good. Their corporate gift tins are fresh, festive, and also unforgettable. Whether you're thanking clients, rewarding employees, or just spreading holiday cheer, they've got you covered. Here's how easy that it is. You just go to wearenutsmn.com. You can download the corporate gifting catalog. It's right there on the homepage. You pick your tins. Whether it's the toffee peanuts, the cashews, the mixed nuts, the chocolate almonds, the hokey pokey popcorn, even the famous 4, it's all there for you. You send them your gift list, and then they're going to pack, personalize, and ship each tin, even with custom enclosure cards featuring your company's logo and also your personal message. There's no endless forms. There's no box taping marathons. You just call, you email, or you can visit the site, and they will handle the rest. And yes, we're into November, so if you got those orders and you want them by Christmas, you have to place your order by November 14th, which by my math is 10 days away. So gift bold, gift local, gift nuts with wearenutsmn.com. You can also call them directly at 612-781-6596. We Are Nuts, fresh, local, and unforgettable. The Weekly Scramble. We will be right back.
Northwood was a quiet, idyllic American suburb, but the beautiful landscaping hid a dark secret.
The horror that happened inside those homes with such a pretty facade, it just didn't make sense.
The immaculate yards were designed by retired landscaper Arvin Shreve.
You reminded me of Mr. Rogers.
But Arvin was not who he appeared to be.
He's proclaiming to be a prophet.
Arvin's message was, if you do all these things for me sexually, then I have a key to get you into heaven.
My mom took me to this house, and then I never lived with her again.
My podcast, Gardens of Evil, tells the unbelievable story of the Zion Society cult and an investigator who rescued dozens of children from the clutches of a predator. It reveals tactics used by abusers like Arvin or anyone who manipulates for their own selfish ends. And it's the story of resilient survivors who are finding ways to heal 3 decades later.
Forgive yourself. Keep moving forward. You didn't know any better.
Find Gardens of Evil inside the Zion Society cult, wherever you listen to podcasts.
So I have a piece of audio for you, sir.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
I am.
It doesn't sound like you're ready.
I think I'm going to be ready.
All right. Let me just make a quick note. Michael, the city of New York is facing a pretty sizable election for the new mayor.
Didn't hear that. Tell me about it.
Yeah, they're about to elect a gentleman by the name of Zoran Mamdani, or as he was mistakenly portrayed on Saturday Night Live as Zoltan Mamabami.
Okay.
Shane Gillis is so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's one of these man on the street videos,
Okay.
right? It's one of those where, hey, we're just outside the polling place, and I'm going to guess this is in a very nice part of Manhattan. A very nice couple.
Upper East Side. Maybe.
Yes, couple in their, I'm going to guess 60s that had just left the polling place.
Oh, because they're so proud.
And you know what? They're here because they're proud New Yorkers, because they're here to fight for, it's okay. I got you taken care of.
Okay.
But it's two people that cast a vote for Zoran Mamdani, and they were asked, why? Why do you support Zoran Mamdani?
I'm excited to hear this.
Are you ready for this? Here we go. Cue the talent and stand by. Let's do take two because I had the wrong button pushed up. Here we go. Cue the talent, stand by.
I know he's controversial for some. They're saying that it'll force millionaires to go out of the city and they're paying the majority of the tax. What do you say to those people?
I think that's baloney.
I think millionaires tend to not pay taxes, don't they? They tend to avoid paying taxes that perhaps you or I could not successfully do.
And what about the government-run grocery stores? Do you think that that's a model that could work?
Yes.
And
I
why?
think there's too many hungry people and too many potatoes here that are $5 a pound.
Yeah, you got to lower the prices. Is there anything else about Zoran that gets you excited about him?
I'm excited that he gets young people excited, and I'm excited to see people standing in line, hopefully, to vote for something new.
And last thing, the number one comment I get on some of my videos is that socialism doesn't work. It's been tried many times. Why do you think it'll work?
This isn't socialism he's talking about, social democracy. You know, government should work to encourage people to thrive and be successful. Everybody thrive. It shouldn't be a matter of it should be equality, not supremacy. It should be a matter of bringing everybody up and not just having a few people with entirely too much money and too much decision.
Michael, I would just like to yield the balance of my time.
Well, I agreed with the man talking at the very end when he said government should be here to have everybody thrive. We just have two totally different points of view on what helps people thrive. And opening a government-run grocery store that will have no food, will not have good prices, and will be out of business will not do it. Stopping landlords from increasing their rent as the market would demand does not add more low-income housing into a city. It just doesn't do it. It does the exact opposite. Everything he's doing does the exact opposite of what they want him to do. I did find something interesting, Reavers, and I need to ask you this and let you ponder it for a little bit. So I think the Republican side of the ticket has about 40% of the people are kind of Bill Clinton Republicans. Right?
Okay.
Jack Kennedy Republicans. I know those were Democrats, but we're kind of in the middle of the road. Then we have a 10% of the ultra-right, abortion's their number one topic. They'll only vote for people that want to stop abortion, all that. So we have 50% of the population, right? 40% being kind of moderate, 10% being ultra-right. I think the Democrats have a big problem. So I think they had about 40% of the people were common sense Democrats, right? And then 10% of the people who were far left. Now, I think far left is 25%. And I think middle left is 25%. So now, instead of the Democrat Party, it has to be the Democrat Socialist Party. So now that is two different things. So are Democrats going to start running against Democrat Socialists? Are they going to have to disband their party?
You're seeing that here in Minneapolis.
You 100% are.
That's Jacob Frey versus Omar Fateh.
It's exactly happening. But these senators that were elected as standard middle-of-the-road Democrats are not going to want to leave. They're not going to want to give up their positions in the United States federal bureaucracy. And they're going to say, we have to bust off this Democrat socialist, or let's just call it a Socialist Party. We're going to have to bust off this 25% of socialists, or the Democrats or the left is never going to win another election eventually outside of any ultra blue state, right? Any red state's going to say, well, we're not going to get a Democrat that's going to have enough because the socialist there's going to be another socialist, just like what's happening in New York with the Republicans staying in, then Cuomo had no chance of winning whatsoever with the Republican in. It's a really weird thing. Is there going to be a day where Democrats are going to have a very standard middle-of-the-road Democrats, the ones that we know and get along with, is there going to come a day where they are not going to be able to get elected?
I think the reason that the socialist movement has attached itself so intensely with the Democratic Party is because the Democratic Party has been so much easier from a voting aspect to be ripe for the picking.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the fraud that's happened in the state of Minnesota. It's all tied to Democratic-led government programs.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all of the seats. Those are all occupied. But the point being that I'm trying to make is you don't even understand that you're allowing your replacement to take your spot.
So let me break this down. Let's say that in this next election cycle for president, Kamala Harris wants to run again, and we'll call her a Democrat for sake of argument. But then AOC wants to run for president too. They can't both run as Democrats. They can't, because why would they? AOC would be smart. I'm not even going to run as a Democrat. I'm going to run as a Democrat socialist or a socialist. And she would kick the shit out of Kamala Harris. And then it would be a socialist person running against J.D. Vance or, somebody. So how does the Democrat Party ever congeal again under standard Democrat, middle-of-the-road, common sense kind of stuff?
I had said for the longest time that today of Election Day, November 4th, and we're recording this just before 3 o'clock, that this is the most important election in the history of the city of Minneapolis. And in the last couple of days, I've eased off of the fact that I now don't think Omar Fateh is going to get elected. I still won't be shocked if he is.
Sure.
But in New York, Mom Donnie is running away with it right now.
Yeah, he won yesterday.
And Joe said a really key thing earlier today on Garage Logic, and he had said, New York is just simply way too big for the immediate downfall to happen quickly, meaning there's just too many wheels in place.
Too much bureaucracy.
Exactly. That probably won't happen right away. However, in our city, we're already spiraling the drain. And so I think with the election of someone like Fateh, that's just going to put that on steroids and speed this thing through.
Well, the simple fact is Joe's, I believe, both right and wrong. Because if I'm a developer in New York City and Zoran gets in, I'm done. Why would I ever build another piece of property, housing, in New York City if I had a dictator, a communist socialist dictator, say to me, you can charge $1,500 a month for that apartment, that's it? I said, no. Thank you. Same thing that happened in St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Right, they shut it down.
All of our friends that were in that business, that the city said, oh, you can only go up 3% unless if you're a new property, you can do this, you can do this. And they said, thanks, but no thanks, we're not building anymore. The Ford plant, when they were building all those things, they stopped and said, we can't do this. And luckily, they had enough juice that the mayor said, oh, time out. We're not stopping that process.
But why is it that there are so many people who are so comfortable with the idea of living this way? Is it just purely an intelligence level? Is it just purely a lack of education? Is it a combination of the both? Is it not having a real world experience of either owning a property, renting a property? Are you always trying to place blame on somebody else? What is it that leads to that mindset?
I blame Donald Trump.
Why?
Because he's a dink. Donald Trump does not bring together the sides. Donald Trump, when he won, could have said, hey, this is a country for all, right? I'm the president of everyone. We're going to try to get these sides together. He's so polarizing that even if you're following a bad idea, but the bad idea is on your side, you still have to take it. Because you can't cross that middle line and say, I'd accept anything from Donald Trump. Right? I mean, you've said it a million times. Right. Donald Trump could stop the war in the Middle East, stop the Ukraine-Russian war. It doesn't matter what he does. Someone's going to bitch about it on the other side. And that's his fault because he's such a weirdo, name another president who's willing to troll somebody. I don't know if you saw they in this hall in the White House, they put up some pictures of the presidents, right? And they had great, Obama had a beautiful picture and Clinton had a beautiful picture. And then when it got to President Biden, they put an auto pen.
Yeah, I did see that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit that drives the other side nuts. And
it's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, and you never get someone to listen to your opinion if you're constantly jabbing them and calling them stupid and making fun of them. They're not going to say, oh, okay. You know how hard it is to get red pilled if you hate the red pill, right? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. But the other thing too is, I just don't think there ever is going to be a unifying front.
There will be.
But really?
Let's think. Who could run for president this next year besides AOC? Because she could bring the world together. AOC for you and me. I thought of that great tagline for her. She's going to win. I swear to God, she's going to win.
You really have to stop being in love.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like J.D. Vance, I think, is kind of normal. He's getting a little bit of, if people knew J.D. Vance's his background and his hillbilly elegy book and movie, if they watch that, they'd say, oh, that's an interesting guy, right? And I do think this is going to be unpopular. I think the Republicans have to leave the abortion issue.
Well, yeah, I've been saying that for just everyone has their own personal beliefs.
Yeah.
And everyone's entitled to their own personal beliefs on that. But to consistently make this an issue, all you're doing is adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah, you can't be Scott Jensen and win a governor's race in Minnesota if you start it with abortion should be illegal in Minnesota. You get that 10% on the far right that says absolutely. You keep the 40% of Republicans that are kind of in the middle, but you get 0 of the Democrats.
Well, and again,
would you get more than 10% of the Democrats if you said abortion should be legal, safe, and rare?
If they decide to run him against Walz again, you are absolutely slam dunking home a victory for the Walz, the failed Walz regime in this state.
Besides Mike Fratelloni, who could run for governor and who would have a chance?
Kendall Qualls.
Do you like? No, he can't win.
You don't think so?
No, can't win.
He's
proven he can't win.
I think Kendall Qualls would make a good candidate.
I think he'd be a good candidate. He can't win.
I think Kristen Robbins would make a good candidate.
Okay.
I know Lisa Damath announced her candidacy. She might have a chance.
No.
But
none of those people have. And Kendall, at least we've heard of his name. No one else has a shot in hell. We need to get somebody big.
Mike Lindell, the pillow guy.
No.
Okay.
I think I'm being serious. What about this is going to be dumb. The congressman from the United States congressman owns the Phillips Liquor. Phillips.
Oh, Dean Phillips?
Dean Phillips could run for governor.
But he's a Democrat.
He's not. Dean Phillips is a moderate.
So would he run as an independent like Jesse did?
Don't know that. I don't know. But he could become our next governor, and he would be a middle of the road where the 80%... Some of the 80% say, I don't love everything he does, but I've met Dean Phillips. Dean Phillips is not a weirdo.
No.
He's a nice guy.
In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the first people holding office that came out to say,
you can't run this guy.
Biden is not okay.
Yes.
Like, this is not okay.
I wonder if Dean's thinking about running for governor. Is being a governor better than being a United States congressman, a member of the House of Representatives? I think it is. There's only 50 governors, and there's 400 and whatever.
Probably. It probably
and
is.
For him, when he has aspirations to become president, I think Dean would have a better chance coming in here, knocking walls off the top run of the ladder and saying, I'm going to try to unite Minnesota. We're not going to get a Republican in Minnesota. Surely aren't going to get Scott Jensen.
But here's I guess where I think a lot of other people are at right now in terms of just where we are at politically, because in this state, again, I'm going to bring this up again. I hope to God the city of Minneapolis is smart enough not to elect Omar Fateh, who will single-handedly ruin what's remaining of the state we once knew. Because Minneapolis is the engine of the entire financial aspect of this state.
Well, as we record this, if you're listening to this tonight, we're going to put this podcast up at 3 o'clock, something like that. If you're listening to this and you live in Minneapolis and you haven't voted, maybe you're a Republican, maybe you're on the right, and your vote on the right has no bearing whatsoever. Well, it does this time, because you can still go vote for Mayor Fry.
All right, so let me just throw this at you, because I saved this for our show, because I'm constantly throwing stuff at Joe, and he sometimes doesn't want to talk about this, he doesn't want to talk about that. But do you know Jeepers. I'm so sorry about my voice today.
Get a little
ladies and gentlemen.
choked up.
I really apologize. So the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture is a woman by the name of Brooke Rollins. Are you familiar with her, Michael?
Yeah, tell me why I know that name.
On the first day, USDA, that is the United States Department of Agriculture, they told every state in the union to send us their SNAP data so that we could make sure that illegal immigrants aren't getting benefits meant for American families. 29 states stepped up and provided that information. 21 blue states absolutely refused, and 2 of them sued the United States Department of Agriculture for even asking for that information. And guess what? In just the states that cooperated, we've already uncovered massive fraud. The Democratic Party has turned its back on working Americans and built its entire strategy around protecting illegal aliens. They know if the handouts stop, those illegals will go back home. And Democrats will lose 20 plus seats after the next census. And she goes on to say there's a new sheriff in town. POTUS will not tolerate waste. That's what we're up against, ladies and gentlemen. It's the machine that's at work here.
Yes.
And whether you like a certain candidate or not, I'm tired of this crap. And again, I don't want to keep being the guy that harps on the family that absolutely needs SNAP, because I know people that need SNAP. But the problem is the fraud, the abuse, and the waste. In that particular segment where she was featured on Fox News, they uncovered one illegal immigrant from Somalia that was a registered SNAP recipient in 6 different states.
Well, maybe he has a beach house in Florida. Maybe he likes the coastal Carolinas.
So as the guy
you begrudge him for having 6 properties?
Absolutely, I do. No, I don't begrudge him for owning 6 properties.
I know. He doesn't have 6 properties. He's just scamming the system.
But that's the part that I find so infuriating, because don't you be dare getting late on your tax payments. They'll come right after you.
Doge made a little bit of a mistake. Doge was so bombastic. Elon Musk was so bombastic. He could have come in and said, let's just see if there's waste, fraud, and abuse inside current working things. We can feed people in America that need food. Let's go in and just run some simple math to see if, this guy with the same social security number is getting it in 6 different states. And you know what you do? Is you shut it off. And then you make them come back. And I think we just did this in Minnesota. Many of these payments that we were making on some of these fraud things, we stopped making the payments, waiting for people to have the balls to come back and ask. Because you know the guy, the Somalian who was getting the 6 states worth, he didn't call the federal government and say, hey, I'm getting SNAP in Minnesota and Iowa and New Jersey and South Carolina. He doesn't have the guts to do that, right? Yeah. He thinks he's been caught at that point in time, which would stop a lot of it, right? So I think we really made a mistake with Elon coming in and shutting things off, like shutting whole departments down, when we could have just dug for the waste, fraud, and abuse internal to those departments.
Let's talk about our friends at Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com. Available at all of your Fratelloni's hardware and garden stores locations. I got to tell you, I got a brand new next door neighbor.
Okay.
His name is Jason. He's amazing. You know what else? You know what's really cool about having a new neighbor is finding out what are you into?
Yeah.
He is an artist when it comes to smoking meat.
Oh, you're kidding.
And so he made something a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I've been working with this company, and I think so I gave him a jar from our buddy Ben of the savory and the sweet rubs. He goes, I love doing ribs. I go, well, here, try this out.
Try this.
So guess what he did?
Brought some ribs to you.
He
didn't, cut him off.
Yeah, then you're done.
Yeah,
you're off the
never
door.
talk to that guy again.
He said, where did you get this stuff? This is amazing. So he did the savory seasoning because we have the meat market in Jordan. It's called Picarna's. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
And he goes, I went down to Picarna's. I got some ribs. I used your savory seasoning. These are incredible. So the next day, he went back to Picarna's, got another rack of ribs, and did it again the next day. Because, of course, the entire neighborhood was over.
When you meet a new guy in your neighborhood, because I don't meet my neighbors.
Right.
I don't know any of them. Right? Not that I don't like them. I just don't know them. It's not my thing. But when you meet him, do you run back in and say to your wife, honey, I just met Bob.
I got a new friend.
He is, there's a real chance he's going to be my new best friend.
Well, I have one of those neighborhoods too where we all have kids, right? So they're all running about. And of course, Friday, it was Halloween. Everyone's out.
Do you have some kids at your house?
Fire. Oh my God. There's fires going everywhere. It's fantastic.
I had none.
Several homes in the suburb of Northwood had the most beautiful landscaping.
Such perfection.
The neighbor responsible? Retiree Arvin Shreve.
It reminded me of Mr. Rogers.
But Arvin hid a dark secret.
My mom took me to this house, and then I never lived with her again.
Arvin's message was, I have a key to get you into heaven.
Gardens of Evil is the unbelievable story of the Zion Society cult, told by those who lived it. Find Gardens of Evil inside the Zion Society cult, wherever you listen to podcasts.
You had no trick-or-treaters?
No, they're not coming up. I got a weird driveway. Got security all over the place. No one's coming up to my house.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's nice. But okay, good. But that's cool.
It was so awesome. And
buy this stuff.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say buy it. It's so good.
That's what makes endorsing a product like that amazing, because Ben's created such a monster with mastersmaples.com that you go on there. Of course, you're going to get the best 100% pure maple syrup that Minnesota has to offer, but you're also going to get those unbelievable rubs. You're going to get the pure maple sugar for the bakers in your life. And you know what? It's a great family-run business that's based right here in Cohasset, Minnesota. And Ben is the absolute best and a diehard GLer and also Weekly Scramble listener. But it's such a great product. And again, if you don't want to go on the website, just go to Fratelloni's. They carry
we got it. We got it all.
They carry everything. Yeah. And please do us a favor and let Ben know that you heard about Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com right here on the Weekly Scramble podcast. And we will be right back. I'm about to say something extremely controversial because we haven't said nearly enough about politics. Mm-hmm. So I want to switch to something else. And I feel bad saying this.
Oh no.
I don't know how to break this to 12-year-old / 13-year-old Chris Reavers.
Uh-oh. What is it?
I think the 2025 World Series might very well rival 1991.
No, you're not going to say it. Really?
And again, 91, I could almost recant every single pitch from that World Series. From Jack Morris's first to Gene Larkin's hit in games. I could almost recite. Well, this is where Mark Lemke gets involved.
In fact, I believe you. I 100%.
I have one of those DVDs that I was gifted as a couple of years ago. And so the boys and I sat down and they're like, we're going to watch the whole series. I go, well, it's not the whole series. It's like the highlights from each game. And it's like encapsulated in like a 2-hour. It's almost like a movie.
So when some guys put
here's where Mark Lemke gets a triple.
Yeah, some guys put on deep romantic music when they're going to get frisky. You're like, hold on, honey. I'm putting on the 91 World Series DVD.
To the point where I remember my now 10-year-old, soon to be 11-year-old son said, how do you know all of this? And I said, buddy, this was my World Series.
Your dad's door.
The 87 and 90.
They were great.
Those were my teams.
Yeah,
like you're not good. Anyway, this one was. It
was great. It was so good. You know how good it was?
You watched it.
I watched it. And I was in a bar and we were going nuts. In fact, I sent you a really bright text.
Yes, you did.
I sent him a little text that said, Reavers, I know you've been really busy lately. I don't know if you know that it went to Game 7 and it just happens to be on. And the next day you're like, you are so great. Like you didn't know. It was pretty funny.
To the point where I was staying because I had a wedding Saturday, so I was at a hotel and I was screaming and just hooting and hollering and everything else. And I'm sure everyone that was staying around going, "What the hell is?"
Were you happy with the outcome?
You know,
it's like a cheating team. Like we're going to just buy every single player.
The thing that I guess I'm rooting against is not necessarily what the Dodgers are, but it's what the Dodgers represent in terms of the competitive balance of my favorite sport. I love baseball.
Sure, and they're screwing it up.
And it's unfortunate because baseball on the professional level has essentially become college football. 5 teams have a chance to win it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. That's it.
The rest of the league has no chance.
But would you have said at the beginning of the year the Blue Jays were one of those 5 teams?
Well, they were, I think, 6th in payroll.
Oh, they were.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. They
I thought their payroll was like not as big as Ohtani's single season payroll.
Well, no. I think the Blue Jays had a payroll of $260 million.
Was that big? Okay.
Yeah.
But Shohei is, what's he making? Shohei.
Well,
Shohei,
you know his contract situation, don't you?
I kind of do. Like,
So
he doesn't get paid anything for 10 years.
He signed a 10-year, $700 million contract.
Yeah, that seems about $70 million a year.
The first 10 years, he's only taking $2 million in annual pay.
Sure.
And then the rest of it's deferred.
Yeah.
Well, he's making so much money off of endorsements and everything else that whatever. I mean, he's still going to make a lot of money. But there was a great piece, I think it was the Wall Street Journal, but basically talking about how the Dodgers are basically getting him for nothing. And the reason they're getting him for nothing is because they're making so much money.
Japanese revenue.
Globally in merchandise and everything else that, well, his contract's a wash.
Yeah,
and by the way, they get the best player on the planet.
He's not like a token Japanese guy either. He is the best player in the world.
And he will go down as the best player to ever play baseball.
Yeah, it's shocking. I was at a bar and people were pissed that LA won. Pissed.
Here's what I wanted. I wanted the Dodgers to win Friday night only because I wanted it to go 7 games because I want as much baseball as possible.
Okay.
But yes, I did. I was rooting like crazy for the Blue Jays to win.
See, I had a little bit of a problem, and it made me feel weak, and let me tell you what it was.
Okay.
I said, I'd rather have L.A. win because at least it's in America. I didn't want some Canadian team to win our sports, America's sports. I didn't want them to win the World Series, right? And I shouldn't need to do that because I'm American. We're winners. I shouldn't be pissed at Canada. But remember when Canada beat us in the Olympics for the gold medal in hockey?
Sure.
That pissed me off too.
Okay.
That shouldn't have to piss me off. I should say, congratulations, Canada, you've done it.
In fact, this was the first time in Major League history. Now, this is a sport that goes back 150 years. That the opening season of the Major League Baseball season started in a foreign country and also ended in another country.
See?
Because it started in Japan.
We should invade them.
Dodgers.
Is there anything we can do to invade them? That's why I can't be in politics, because I first go to, we should invade them. That's what my first instinct is. Like Mexico, when I'm thinking about buying a beach house down in Mexico, I'm thinking, it'd be kind of nice if Mexico is just part of America. We should invade them. Venezuela, we should invade them. We should just do it. We're bigger than them. So yeah, I felt a little bad because I think I kind of wanted someone besides LA, the Dodgers, to win, but I couldn't have it be someone outside of the country. It pissed me off.
Right.
And I don't think we should play football in Europe anymore either.
Okay.
I don't like that
You're drawing
either.
the line?
Honest to God, I'm pulling back a little bit.
Okay.
Let's have some wins for America.
Okay.
Not bullcrap wins like Trump keeps yelling. Let's have some real wins. Like if we go to the Olympics, because the Olympics is coming up, and if we don't rock the crap out of the Olympics, I'm going to be pissed because we need this. Now I feel like I'm Russia or China, like, oh, we need to beat America. That's the Chinese.
How about we do this? How about we get through today?
Yes.
And see what the fate of both of our city and our country is, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, I think that's a really good idea, Reavers. I do know. I'm trying to think of some. I didn't write a great joke, but I do have. What do you call a snowman with a 6-pack?
What do I call a snowman with a 6-pack?
An abdominal snowman. Because winter's coming. Winter's coming. It's going to be a dark winter, too. I can just feel it. Hey, good luck to Mayor Fry. Let's do it. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home.
All right.
Let's see. We'll see you next later on in the week, Reavers. You're the best.
Thank you, Michael. Please do us a favor. Rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. It helps other people find the show, and it helps us out as well. And we appreciate each and every single one of you. His name is Mike Fratelloni. My name is Chris Reavers. Thank you so very much for listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. We'll talk to you again next time. And until then, cheers.
I'm Mike King from the podcast Profiling Evil, a place where true crime meets behavioral science. I spent my career investigating serial predators and studying the psychology behind them. Here, we don't just talk about what criminals did. We explore why they do what they do. We expose manipulation and control, look at how offenders select their victims, and uncover the ways that they try to avoid detection. You can find Profiling Evil on your favorite podcast platform.